is just fantastic. Captain's log, subdate 220614.8. We've upped the yield on the quantum torpedoes and we'll aim for the tongue on the Ralph Mail, as it appears to be vulnerable, as in it is the only part of him not blessed apparently by Papa Nurgle, so Zinch may well be on our side today. Glorious. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to do something I don't really do that often. We are going to talk about pro wrestling or sports entertainment. One wrestler, and more notably, arguably one of the most popular wrestlers in history. He's certainly in the top 20. He has to be. As far as babyfaces go, this guy was always popular. Just always. The problem really is, this person has always struggled away from wrestling, and it has on occasion bled into wrestling. And every time it has, this wrestler has lost out. As have the fans because, well, he's been very good for a long time. And many argue, much like that of RVD, had there been a little more control and restraint, perhaps therapy, especially therapy, then this particular person could have been so much more. I am of course talking about Jeff Hardy. Many of you will remember him through the Attitude Era with his brother Matt Hardy. Let's try and ignore the crap that they did before they were the Hardy Boys. They were part of a number of tag teams that were hugely successful. Pioneers, trailblazers, TLC matches that are legendary. Sensing his popularity, the WWE separated Matt and Jeff up. Now Matt had single success. As version 2.0, yes, I remember all of that, and certainly ECW as well. Jeff Hardy had a different success. As is well known, the WWE wanted to push Jeff Hardy as a top face. And eventually that led to the, and I hate this nickname, the charismatic enigma to capture or be given the top title, belt. Not for long, mind you, but there are reasons for that. Just because this annoys me, how can you be a charismatic enigma? Just tell me, how? It's one of the worst nicknames ever. He's not an enigma, everyone's seen what he's done, and that can mean wrestling and extracurricular done, just not as far as like Sean Waltman done. Now when Jeff Hardy left the WWE, it was because of a number of issues. One was his erratic behavior, drug use, refusal to go to rehab, deteriorating ring performance, no-showing events. Jeff cited burnout. After which, in 2003, Jeff Hardy went to Ring of Honor and TNA. When he was in TNA, he also no-showed events and he went. To then go back in 2006 to 2007 to the WWE again, which led to him winning the World Championship. Jeff Hardy won the WWE Championship once and the World Heavyweight Championship twice. He left the WWE in 2009 for a second time, going back to TNA. It was during that time that one of the most famous incidents happened where Jeff Hardy clearly had issues. Who was to blame for that? I don't care. Jeff Hardy should have never been in the ring. Sting ended it as fast as he could. Everyone booed. You could tell Jeff was out of it. The Willow character that came out of that, I was a fan of. Not such a fan of the title belt, but that's just me. In 2017, at WrestleMania 33, the Hardys made a suspected, but very much celebrated regardless, return to the WWE, winning the tag team titles. And during that time, up until 2021, there were a number of feuds, yes, titles, blah blah blah, nothing really that special. There was a belief that Jeff Hardy himself would, yet again, get another main event push, while Matt Hardy would just disappear again, because he wasn't as popular, even though he did have his final deletion thing with Bray Wyatt. That could have been so much better. It really could have been. Since leaving the WWE, Jeff Hardy has joined All Elite Wrestling, and has been there ever since. Jeff Hardy's style of wrestling is very high energy. The guy is a great seller. He has had an absolutely stellar career. Again though, he could have been a top face for a long time, and by that I mean multiple reigns beyond what he got. He was lucky to get those, but the WWE really were cashing in at that time. Was that during the Ruthless Aggression era? I think it was. So now I want to talk about the legal issues, because then this ties into more recent. In 2009, Hardy was arrested on charges of trafficking in controlled prescription pills and possession of anabolic steroids. after a search of his house had yielded 262 Vicodin prescription pills, 180 Soma prescription pills, 555 milliliters of anabolic steroids, a residual amount of sherbet, and various drug paraphernalia. A year later, the DA announced that Hardy would plead guilty to the charges, and he was sentenced to 10 days in jail, 30 months probation, and a fine of $100,000. In 2019, Jeff Hardy was arrested in Myrtle Beach for public intoxication, and again in 2019 arrested and charged while driving while impaired in Moore County, which is North Carolina. Myrtle Beach is South Carolina. So if we skip ahead to 13th of June 2022, Jeff Hardy arrested again for DUI, this time while driving with a suspended or revoked license. And so ends the Hardys' reunion in AEW. If not, then it should. There's simply no excuse to put other people's lives at risk time and again like this enough. I know that through Matt Hardy's YouTube channel, the Hardys had discussed having one last run at success before riding off into the sunset, having accomplished all that they can in professional wrestling. Sports entertainment. This is a bit of a spanner in the works. I know WrestleLamia had covered this, but I'm going to go to a Metro article instead. This is, according to that article, the third DUI offense in 10 years for Jeff Hardy, and he was arrested in Florida shortly after midnight on Sunday night. As stated by the County Corrections website, the charges are alleged third drug or alcohol-related DUI offense, driving with a suspended or cancelled or revoked license, and violation of restrictions placed on a driver's license. Hardy's surety cash bond is listed at $3,500, which includes $500 for each license charge and $2,500 for the DUI, with his first hearing scheduled for today, the 14th of June. He is at this present moment scheduled to appear as part of Wednesday night's episode of AEW Dynamite, where he's supposed to team up with his brother Matt against the Young Bucks and Jurassic Express for the tag team titles. Now, one of the things many have pointed out with regards to what Jeff Hardy's been caught doing is that he's in Florida. He now has 3 DUIs within 10 years, and in Florida that means severe punishments potentially for Jeff Hardy. Some pointing out that this could lead up to 10 years in prison. Whether that is the case or not, I'm not entirely sure, but the judge can now do that. There is something I'd like to talk about concerning Jeff Hardy's use within the WWE. Generally, they don't know how to use talent. On rare occasion, they get it right. They are currently going through a rather interesting phase of, oh shit, what do we do now? We've only got Roman. There was talk when Jeff was in the WWE during his last run that perhaps a run with Roman would be good, but it never happened, and I feel that the reason why is because the WWE could not trust him to be a face for the company anymore. AEW had took a risk on him, a big risk, and this is that risk falling in their face. Jeff Hardy has had issues since his early 20s, and he has spoken of those issues, with his desire to be an example to others going through recovery. The problem is, his continued setbacks make him a bad example. And to add one additional factor that can negatively impact your recovery, it is the denial from your own family. Your brother himself has said that you're fine, multiple times that you're fine, but every single time he has said that, it has been proven not to be the case. You, Jeff Hardy, need to get help, and I don't believe continued performances in wrestling, sports entertainment, will help you, because all this extra money you're making, you just want to blow on things you should not be near. You need help, counseling, therapy. You do not need alcohol, pills, or sherbet. With regards to whatever a judge says today, I will of course provide you an update. As a wrestling fan, it is disappointing to see a wrestler fall like this over and over again, but it has become a cliche, with so many wrestlers in the past and still to this day currently continually falling down, some getting up, others just continuing to fall, unable to get up because of what they've taken and because they refuse to get help or commit to help.